Today I feel like casting on a new project, so that's what we're gonna do. These needles are so big. I'm using 15mm circular needles and so big. This is what I was able to do in the last maybe 30 minutes. So it's been working up, I guess, kind of fast. It took me a while to figure out where to place my stitch markers because this is a raglan and I had to do some math to figure out where to place the stitch markers. So I am knitting a raglan sweater, and probably a cropped sweater because I don't think I'll have enough yarn to do like a full-length sweater. I actually have no idea if the amount of yarn that I have is enough to do a cropped sweater. I'm hoping it is, but I really don't know. I have 2 of these cakes, so in total I have 400 yards of this yarn. But I'm working with 15mm needles, so I think I might be okay. So far, this yarn works up so beautifully. I was worried that the 15mm needles would make it so the stitches were too big because I did want it to be an open knit, but I didn't want it to be like super open knit. And since I'm just knitting with a single strand, I thought it would be very open knit. But it's not. It's a very normal amount of openness in the stitches, and it looks like a cloud. It is so, so pretty. I'm hoping to finish this pretty quickly and be able to wear it in the spring as like a something that I can just wear over top of other things, because this color reminds me of spring and I really want to be able to wear it in the springtime. Oh no, not the wind. This is where I'm at with the sweater. So I have made a lot of progress since yesterday. I literally cast on this sweater yesterday, I think at like 5 p.m. and it is currently 2:45. So I was able to do all of this in less than 24 hours, which is pretty cool. That's the nice thing about working with super big needles. So yeah, 15mm needles, love them. Love them so much. So up until this point, I've just been working on the yoke. So I've just basically been working in the round and adding my increases to create the 2 sections for the body and the 2 sections for the sleeves. And I think it's finally big enough now to section off the sleeves, because when I join the 2 points of the sleeve, this is how big the sleeve looks. So if I were to section it off right now, this is how big it would be, and I think that's a good size. I want to show you something really annoying that just happened. So I'm using interchangeable needles, and I didn't use a little thing that you can use to make it really tight and secure. And so while I was knitting just now, I didn't notice that my cable unscrewed from my needle, and I just kept knitting, and all of these stitches just came off of my circular needles. Could be worse though. My stitches could be super tiny, which would be harder to get back onto my cable, but since I'm using the super chunky needles, my stitches are ginormous, which kind of makes it easier to just, you know, to find them and place them back onto my cable. Now I'm ready to section off the sleeve, and I'm going to do that by placing all of my sleeve stitches onto a lifeline. So I'm just taking some random yarn here, threading it through my darning needle, and I'm gonna weave it through all of my sleeve stitches. I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, but there are 2 lines, so one here and one here. And the section within these 2 lines is one of the sleeves. So all the stitches on my needles right here within this section are stitches for my sleeve. So I have to place all of these stitches onto a lifeline because I want to section them off from the rest of the sweater as I work on the body of the sweater. I just placed all of my sleeve stitches on a lifeline. So this right here is how big my sleeve's gonna be. And now I have to join both of these points right here together in order to form the body and fully section off the sleeve. So Oh, and I also want to cast on a few extra stitches for the bottom of the sleeve here. I think I'm gonna cast on maybe just 2, because these are pretty big stitches. Wait, how did I do this? Okay, 1, 2, and now we join. And I'm gonna do it by just continuing to knit. So this is how big the sleeve is looking. Actually looks a lot bigger than how it looked before. It's kind of like a big sleeve. Oh my gosh. Oh well. It's not like I don't like an oversized fit. I love an oversized fit. I just don't think I'll have enough. But I think we might be okay, because I've done all of this with just this one cape, which was 200 yards to begin with, and I feel like I've only used half of it, so I think I might actually be okay for yarn. I have made so much progress today. I'm convinced that I'll be able to finish the body of this sweater today, especially since it's so nice outside and I just want to spend the rest of the day knitting out here. So I feel like at that rate I'll definitely be able to finish at least the body of this sweater. Like, look how much I got done today. Also, I'm at the point in this sweater where I think I want to add a little bit of shaping, and I'm going to do that by doing some decreases along the sides of the sweater just to kind of like cinch it in a little bit. So yesterday I finished the body of this sweater, and for this sweater I also want to take out some rows at the bottom of it. I think I decreased too much, like at the waist part of it, so it's going in a little too much. I didn't really do the measurements properly, so I'm going to take out some rows and redo this bottom section here. And I still haven't tried it on yet, so I'm gonna try it on now to see what it's looking like so far. It looks like it's a pretty okay shape. Okay. Nice. Okay, I think it's okay. I don't know if I like the way that it's flaring out at the bottom. Actually, I think it's okay. It's kind of cute. Yeah, so the way that I did the body of this sweater is I did some shaping. I did some decreases, like 2 sets of decreases on each side around this point right here. And then I did 1 increase on each side around this point here. And then I did a stretchy bind off at the bottom. And I feel like it's the stretchy bind off at the bottom that's making it like flare out a lot, and not the increases that I did. I just never know what bind off to do, because like I want it to be stretchy. I don't want it to be like super tight at the bottom. So then I do a stretchy bind off, but then the stretchy bind off flares, and I don't like when it does that because it just creates a totally different shape when it flares. So yeah, usually I'll do, I think it's called an Icelandic bind off. There's probably other names for it too, but yeah, that's another bind off that I do pretty often, and I really like it because it does have a little bit of stretch, but it's not too much. But sometimes it's like still kind of tight, like when I stretch, I don't know. Maybe I'll take apart this bind off and do it again with an Icelandic bind off, but I'll do that later because right now I want to focus on the sleeves because that's gonna take me a while to do as well, and I just wanna get started on them as soon as possible. So now I'm just gonna pick up the stitches for one of the sleeves and start working on a sleeve. And I might go outside to knit for a little bit because it says it's kind of warm. I think it's like 10 degrees outside, but it's a little cloudy. I think it's supposed to rain later, so, but it's not raining right now. So I think I'm gonna go outside before it rains. I did about 5 rows on the sleeve, but I felt a raindrop, so I'm gonna go inside. So I finished both the sleeves of the sweater, and they worked up super, super fast. I think just one sleeve took me about 2 or 3 hours to work up, and I worked it up super quickly and forgot to film any of it. But I just wanted to come on here and show you guys what it looks like when I put it on at this point. And right now, I think it looks a little weird, mostly because of the bottom of the sweater right here. I think it's just flaring out way too much because of the stretchy bind off that I used. So I think I'm gonna take out this bind off and redo it with a less stretchy bind off. And then another thing that I think is making the sweater look a little weird right now is the neckline. And I think that's just because I haven't done a collar yet. So I'm hoping that I'll like it better once I do a collar. But yeah, right now, if we look closely, the way that the sweater is sitting on my shoulders, it's making like the shoulder parts look a little poofy to me. And I think it's just because the yarn for the sweater is a bulky, fuzzy yarn. So the neckline just looks really weird to me right now. But I'm hoping everything will be okay once I do the collar, redo the binding at the bottom of the sweater, and block the sweater. I'm hoping that blocking will make a big difference as well, because yeah, I do want the sleeves to grow in length a little bit. Considering that this is a mohair yarn, the stitches are actually pretty easy to take apart, which is good because usually it's really hard to take apart stitches that are made with mohair. So I finished blocking the sweater, and this is what it looks like after blocking. The sleeves definitely grew, and I feel like they're a good length now, and that's because I stretched them a lot in like this direction. I think I might have stretched them a little too much because now this part of the sleeve is a little like thinner because all the stitches are stretched in this direction. Part of me kind of wants to reblock this sweater and like pull the sleeves a little bit more in this direction, which would then make the sleeves a little shorter, but then it would give it like that bigger look. Yeah, and if I do that, I would have to make the sleeves a little bit longer, maybe like add 2 extra rows or something at the bottom. So yeah, that's one reason why I haven't weaved in the ends here for my sleeves, and the reason why I haven't weaved in my ends at the back. So I have this end right here, which I actually could weave in because I'm happy with the collar, but I haven't weaved in the end at the back of the sweater here, right here, because I'm currently debating making the sweater a little shorter. Yeah, so if we take a look, this is the current length of the sweater, and I am debating maybe taking out 5 rows in order to make the sweater a little bit more cropped. So this is what it would look like if I took out about 5 rows. So it'd be like this length instead, which I think is a little more flattering, especially considering what I would be wearing this sweater with. I think I'll end up styling this sweater with like a dress or a skirt most of the time, and I think it would look cuter if the sweater was slightly cropped. But I'm still unsure whether I should make it cropped or not. So I want to show you guys the difference so that you guys can give me your opinion and let me know if you think I should leave it the way that it is, so this length right here, or if you think I should crop this sweater a little bit so that it's this length. I'm gonna try and give you like the best example of what it would look like. So yeah, I just think that like when it's slightly cropped, it's like sitting in the right areas, and it's not like when it's longer, it's just makes me look more like straight, you know? But when it's cropped, it's making me look a little less straight down, you know? Anyway, I can't decide what to do, even though I think part of me is leaning more towards the cropped version, but I don't want to do it unless I feel like 100% sure about it. So that's why I wanted to show you guys the 2 different options so that you guys can let me know your thoughts and let me know what you think would look best, and then I can kind of take that into consideration when making my decision on whether or not to keep the sweater the way it is or to make it cropped. But I'm gonna end this video here since there's nothing else I can really do on this sweater until I decide whether or not to make it cropped. And like I said, I want to know your thoughts before I do anything. So yeah, gonna end this video here, but thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make this sweater, and hopefully I'll see you in one of my next videos. Bye!